The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
There's good news, and then there's bad news. The bad news is Hassan Reddick still has not reported to the New York Jets. The good news is we have a new open for the start of the Jet season. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started.
Man, our Jets are primed for a historic season. We bleed Jets green each and every day. This is not the same old Jets. We have Aaron freaking Rodgers. We have Garrett Wilson. Let's go. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinnen Williams. The Jets bandwagon is loaded. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show.
Here we go, Jet fans. Welcome in, everybody. Hopefully, a week from right now, the New York Jets will be 1-0, and we will be joined by Joe Beningo after a victorious night for the New York Jets. Hopefully, by now, you know we're watching the game all together at T-Squared Social in Midtown Manhattan. RSVP with the link I have posted in this description. If you're coming out, it is a free event. Free watch party. Game will be on every TV. Speakers blasting the audio of the ESPN broadcast. We're going to have a blast and celebrate a Jet victory all together. We also will have a watch party for week 2, so stay tuned for an RSVP link for the Jets-Titans game the following Sunday for week 2 of the season. All right, let's talk about Haason Reddick. Shout out to Gator for the new open there, a modern touch on our classic open. We don't have Haason Reddick. Haason Reddick has yet to show his face inside the Jet facility, according to Robert Saleh. And I am very confused by all this because it seems like no one on the Jets beat actually understands or knows the deadline for whether or not Haason Reddick needs to show up to play, or could he actually just show up next Monday in San Fran and play? And based on the head coach's comments here, it kind of sounds like that is the case. This was a weird one. This was Robert Saleh being asked by Brian Costello for an update on Haason Reddick.
Is there anything new to report with Haason Reddick?
No, not that I'm aware of.
In your mind, is there a deadline this week in terms of him being able to play Monday? Like, would he have to be here for Thursday's practice? Would he have to be here today? What's the deadline in your mind?
Really, it's going to be all dependent on how he looks. If and when he shows up, we'll put him through some work with the training staff, see where he's at, and then communicate with him on what we can figure out.
Here's what I'm confused about. Based on the line of questioning and the answer there, it's almost like Reddick could just show up, and if he's in shape, hey, maybe they'd play him. We were led to believe, seemingly for weeks, that Reddick had to show up either today or tomorrow because of the fact the Jets play on Monday, so maybe there was an extra day, in order to get his game check. Like, you got to be in the building, even if you're not playing, so at least you can get paid. That was what we were led to believe. So that's what I'm not understanding here. And it seems like no one on the actual beat during this press conference that wrapped up moments ago over Zoom asked specifically that question. I haven't seen it from one Jets beat reporter. So that's what I don't understand. And I texted around and have been unable to get any info on this, right? We were thought or led to believe that if Haason Reddick reports today or tomorrow, even if he doesn't play, he's eligible for his game check. Now I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't know. I mean, based on that answer there from the head coach, if Haason Reddick shows up on Friday and he's in good shape, hey, maybe they have some plays for him for Monday. As long as he makes the flight to San Fran on Sunday, yeah, he could play. That's what that sounds like, but I have no idea. And it'd be nice if someone on the beat maybe could get us that information, because it's been very unclear throughout this whole process. Here's more from the head coach earlier. He was asked, is it a disappointment that Haason Reddick is still not with the Jets days away from the start of the season?
I'm not. There's no disappointment. It's you've got your roster. You got the guys who are here, and those are the guys you focus on. Hopefully eventually he does get here, and when he gets here, like I said, we're going to embrace him. We're going to love him. We're going to do everything we can to put him in a position to be successful, to achieve the goals that he's trying to achieve, as well as us. But I wouldn't call it disappointment.
Okay, so he wouldn't call it disappointing. I would. Assuming he doesn't play, I would. Niners got back Trent Williams this morning. Signed him to a new deal. Christian McCaffrey's practicing today. He's probably going to play. Ayuk got signed last week. I'd call that disappointing. If I'm going to take on maybe the best team in the NFL, I want to be at my best in that game. So I would use the word disappointing, coach. Because you acquired a guy, not you. Joe Douglas acquired a guy everyone knew wanted the contract, and here we are. So that's why the Jets aren't blameless in this whole thing. Well, at the same time, Hassan Reddick, I think, is getting, once again, if he doesn't show up today or tomorrow, I think he is a fool. Because he's never going to get back the big money contract he wants by not playing at a high level for the Jets. And he's hurting his chances of, one, playing in the game Monday, and two, having a great season if he's not there. Because when he shows up, he's not going to be vintage Haason Reddick right away unless he's an alien. I don't see that happening. Right? He needs to go out there and play well so he could get paid by somebody if it's not the Jets. That's what I don't understand. Why wouldn't you show up? Sure, you're unhappy with your deal. I get it. But if you show up, you have more of a chance for the Jets to maybe guarantee your $14.5 million. Give you some incentives where you could make more money. Isn't that better than losing a game check? I mean, prorate the salary, man. It's almost $1 million a game he's given up by not showing up. $14.5 million is the base salary. It's prorated over an 18-week season. So he's missing a lot of cash by just not being there for week one. And what's crazy is there's still an unknown because no one on the beat has been able to confirm this, whether he needs to show up today or tomorrow to be eligible to play on Monday. But those comments there from Saleh seem to indicate he could show up on Saturday, and as long as he makes the flight to San Fran, he could play Monday if he's in good shape. That's what I don't understand with all this. How does no one have an answer here? How do the Jets not privately tell the beat what the rules are in the collective bargaining agreement? Because that's how this works. And then they could report the information that they're told. That's what I don't understand. So I have no idea if Haason Reddick's going to show up. I have no idea if Haason Reddick, if he shows up, if he can even play. All I could go off of is the comments there from the head coach that seemingly imply that if Haason Reddick shows up and he's in shape, I guess there really isn't a deadline for him to get his game check. That maybe the deadline is actually 8:15 Eastern on Monday, September 9th. That's what I got from the head coach there. That's it. Because no one on the beat has been able to confirm this deadline that we all have been basically operating under of September 3rd, September 4th for him to show, or he wouldn't get his game check. So I don't know. I do know that him not being there is not a good thing for the Jets. Am I going to sit here and say it means they can't win on Monday? No, I'm not. But, I mean, it just feels like we're missing key information here. And that's what's frustrating. Because then I get asked about it, and I don't know. Because I don't know if anyone knows. One more from Saleh here before we open it up. We'll get into some of your calls. I'll read your super chats. Please hit the like button if you're tuned in right now. There's 500 of you watching. Shout out to the Jets. I'm trying to manifest greatness. I got my Super Bowl champ shirt on. I got my O2 division hat on. Doing all I can here. Maybe Hassan Reddick, who watches this show, should actually show up to the Jet facility today. How about that for a concept? Saleh was asked, without Reddick, how do you feel about Michael Clemens and Will McDonald? And this was Saleh talking about those guys and the rest of the defensive line group.
So what's your confidence level in Michael and Will going against this pretty good offense?
I've got a lot of confidence in all of them. Michael looks a lot different than he did a year ago, where, from our standpoint, we recommended that he gain 30 pounds, which was in hindsight not a good idea. And but everything I feel like is in a really good place for him. He's lighter, he's faster, he's leaner. He still has all his power, and he's playing really well. Will McDonald looks awesome. You know, his speed and counter off his speed is is lethal. He's doing well enough in the run game, and then don't sleep on Tack. You know, I thought Tack had a really good training camp also. So we've got plenty to go rush the passer. Our interior guys, Quinnen, Kinlaw, and Saleh still will produce a whole lot for us, and so I'm not overly concerned at all.
Okay, he's not overly concerned, but the bottom line is you're not as good of a defense without Haason Reddick. You're just not. Are they still very good without him? I think so. You still have an all-pro defensive tackle who might be the best in the sport now with Aaron Donald retiring. You still have a Pro Bowl edge in Jermaine Johnson. I think you still have an ascending player in Will McDonald. I do think he's going to be better this year. I don't think he'll be what Jermaine necessarily was from year 1 to year 2, but I think he could be a productive pass rusher. We know about the linebackers. We know about the secondary. So this team is still really good defensively. But man, Niners got a lot better today by getting Trent Williams back. And I felt like the Jets defensive line would feast with or without Reddick if Williams wasn't there. He's there now. So this game became a lot harder. Doesn't mean the Jets can't win. Doesn't mean if they lose, it's the end of the world. It's a non-conference game on the road against a team that was in the Super Bowl last year. Let's remember that. But I really thought Reddick would show because I just don't really see the logic from his side. I don't. He doesn't get more money by not showing. In fact, he loses a significant amount of money. And eventually, when he does show, is he in great shape? Is he going to be at his best to produce? So even if he misses a couple games, let's say he plays 14 games this year, and if you were to prorate his stats over 17 games, you'd say, oh, well, you'd have X amount of sacks. So if you're a prospective team interested in signing him, you'd be comfortable giving him a 2 or 3 year deal that he wants in free agency going into his age 31 year. Find me the team that's going to do that. There was no team that wanted him this offseason. That's why you got him for a 3rd round pick 3 drafts from now at the time of the deal. So it almost feels like Haason Reddick's agent is Le'Veon Bell. Because I don't understand the thinking here. And if I'm Reddick's agent, you know what I would have told my client to do if I wanted more money? Do a hold in, not a hold out. Jamar Chase is not getting fined every day. Brandon Ayuk wasn't getting fined every day. And then I think it does put some pressure on the Jets to get a deal done if he was holding in because he's around the team. Players get to know him a little bit. Coaches usually want to side with star players. They'll go to the gym and say, hey, let's just get this done. We saw this with Revis in 2010 with how pissed off Rex was at Tannenbaum and Woody and wanted to get the deal done. That's where Reddick's camp, I think, botched this whole thing. Why are you holding out when no one knows you? No one on the Jets has any built up, equity with you. They don't know you. They know you're a good football player, a really good one, but they don't know you personally. You haven't been at any of the workouts going back to OTAs. You weren't there for any of the practices, any of camp, and now you're not here now. So it's like out of sight, out of mind. That's where the Reddick camp, I think, is completely botched this whole thing. And if they're banking on the Jets losing week 1 and then all of a sudden the Jets cave and they're going to get big money, I don't think so. I don't think it's going to work that way. Because I think the Jets will realize, hey, we want to win week 1, but we're playing a great team on the road in their building. We're okay. We're then going to go out there and play the Titans, the Patriots, the Broncos, and the Vikings. 4 games in a row where the Jets will be expected to win. They're not expected to win week 1. This is arguably their hardest game of the season. And it gets a lot harder with Trent Williams being signed. He's going to play. I'd be shocked if he doesn't. We know Ayuk's going to play. We know that McCaffrey's practicing today, so it bodes well for him, of course, playing. So the Niners will be at full strength. Now, If you're going to play the Niners, though, you'd rather play them early because a lot of those guys I mentioned didn't have a full training camp. We know Ricky Purcell is officially out the first 4 games, so they got their problems too. And since 2021, San Francisco is only 12-12 through the first 8 games of the season and just 5-6 at home. All right. From games 9 through 17, they're an NFL best 23-4. So they usually start a little slow and then take off. So even with these guys coming back for San Fran, you're still playing the Niners at the right time. That stat was dug up by Michael Nani of Jets X Factor. It's a great stat. Since 2021, when they added the 17th game, San Fran is a 500 team through the first 8 games of the year. And they're only 5-6 at home. So Jets still absolutely can win this game. It's just a more difficult game now. That's why the betting line has now moved from 3 to 4 with this news of Trent being back, which makes sense. Bottom line is this. The Jets allowing it to get this far with Reddick is incredibly disappointing. You can blame the GM. He took a gamble. It has not worked. But the approach the Jets are taking is still the right one. And if Hassan Reddick's camp thinks that the Jets losing week 1 is going to get him more money somehow, I don't see it. The only way I could see it, and this is a huge risk, you can't bank on this, is if, God forbid, something happens to Jermaine Johnson or Quinnen Williams. And then the Jets are a little more desperate, obviously. But if they lose a close game week 1, I don't think the Jets are panicking saying, we got to give Hassan Reddick a 2-year deal right now. I don't think he's helping himself with this approach either. His agent should have told him to hold in, not hold out. That was a huge mistake. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Hit the like button if you're watching the show right now. Appreciate everyone out there who tunes in each and every day. A reminder about some of our weekly guests this upcoming season. Every Monday at 10 a.m., we'll be joined by Joe Beningo. I'll be Joe's in-person guest at his live taping of the Oh the Pain podcast at the Hackensack Brewing Company on September 20th. So come out Friday night after the Jets dog walk the Patriots the previous night, and we'll have a great time all together. Will Parkinson joins us Mondays at 4. Robbie Sabo Tuesdays at 10. Fialco Tuesday at 4. Parles, who'll be with me later this afternoon, a week early. He's coming on Wednesdays when the season actually starts at 4. Nick Faria at 10 on Thursdays. Fireman Ed Friday at 10. Boy Green Friday afternoon at 4. Post-game show after every game. Times are subject to, of course, change. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Today's Jake Asman show is being presented by my friends at Mando.
Here we go. Introducing Lumi for men, and we named him Mando. The whole body deodorant that's clinically proven to block odor all day and controls odor for 72 hours on pits, feet, privates, between your butt cheeks. So here's the odor controlling math. 12 hours after a shower with soap, the average armpit and nether region had an odor score of 8 and 5 out of 10. 12 hours after a shower with soap and applying Mando, those odor scores were 0. How do you like them apples?
Oh, baby. I got my Mando right here. And, folks, if you're coming to my watch party, all right, make sure you wear deodorant. Use some Mando beforehand so you don't stink. That's all we're asking for here. Whether you're someone who loves, the stick deodorant or the cream, Mando has a little something for everyone here. I'm also a huge fan of the Mando wipes as well. 72 hours of odor control from Mando. New customers, I got a deal for you. $5 off Mando's best-selling starter pack with code ASMAN at shopmando.com. It will be the pinned comment down in the description. You also, of course, can check it out in the comment section. So, whole body deodorant, Mando, safe to use anywhere on your body. All right, pits, packages, belly buttons, butt cracks, stinky crevices, stomach folds, feet. It was created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. Mando is American made. Please wear it if you're coming to any of my events this season. Clinically proven to control odor better than a shower with soap. 12 hours after a shower, the average man's Grundle odor level was a 5 out of 10. With Mando, the average Grundle odor level is a 0 out of 10. Once again, you see it there on the screen. Shopmando.com, promo code ASMAN, and you'll get $5 off Mando's starter pack. Shout out to Mando for being a part of our show. And once again, I can't say this enough. Please wear some Mando deodorant if you're coming out to our watch party 6 days from right now at T Squared Social in New York City. All right. Here we go, folks. Comments, questions, super chats, Gusbuster hotlines open. Doug in his room is first up today. Hello, Douglas.
Until Hassan Reddick reports to the Jets, he's a boob. That's what I have to say about that. He's a boob. I mean, we don't need him to win, but he's acting like a boob. What a loser right now. I mean, he might be a nice guy, but like, or maybe it's not him. His agent's a boob. So
I think he's been given some terrible advice, 100%.
So it's crazy. But I'm ready for next week to come. Hopefully, it doesn't go crashing down in flames if 4 plays in like last year. We deserve good karma for once as Jets fans, not the negative karma that we've gotten our entire lives. So it's been 14 years now, 15 years since we last made the playoffs. I'm ready for it to end. I want to make the playoffs. I want to go on a run. I'm ready for next week to start. This is just, yeah. And Hassan Reddick's agent's a boob. That's what I have to say to that.
You know, there is a theory out there, Doug, that you like saying the word boob. Is this true?
It's a fun word to say.
Doug, thank you for the time. What a call to start us off. By the way, the offer still stands, folks. If you're the Asmaniac who gifts the big fella his channel membership back, I'm sending you an item in the merch store. All right. It is a crime against humanity that the big fella is not currently a member. Comments, questions, super chats. R&R says both sides need each other. It's time for both of them to make a deal. Yeah, I think the Jets are willing to make a deal. Like I've heard that, you know, if it was as simple as, hey, you just give him an extra $5 million and that gets it done, I think the Jets would do it. But I think Reddick is asking for something that just doesn't exist. A multi-year extension, which I don't blame the Jets for not wanting to do it. I blame the Jets for knowing he wanted this and still making the trade. Even if he verbally told you he was going to show up to camp. That's the risk with a verbal agreement. You could have just kept Bryce Huff. You could have just signed Jadeveon Clowney. You had Clowney in your building and you let him go to the Panthers for a 1-year, $12 million guaranteed deal. You couldn't beat that and avoided this whole headache? That's my point. But now that we're here, I agree with the Jets' approach. It just stinks that you're probably not going to have him for a huge game on Monday. He could be a difference maker. And yeah, your season's not over if you lose, but think about what it does for your season if you win. Dick Chimney's Burner checks in. Rich is joining us tomorrow, by the way, so I'll ask him about this Reddick stuff. This holdout makes no sense. What is the end game here? I couldn't tell you. Jordan says, Reddick's agent's an idiot unless Reddick wants to retire. This seems like a bad play that we're only losing money. He's already lost a lot of money. Even if the Jets redo his deal, how much is he really making? Right? He's already been fined like $2 million almost. Michael checks in. Give him $10 million guaranteed plus $1 million per sack, up to 15 sacks. So 25 is the ceiling. Well, he's at 14 right now. So you want to give him another $10 million guaranteed? I mean, it's not my money. I don't know if the Jets have that offer on the table. Jet 41 says Trent reports Reddick does not. San Fran has a substantial advantage Monday if things stay that way. Well, I mean, they had an advantage before this. They were the betting favorites. They're the home team. I'm here to tell you right now that I've always figured Trent was going to be there. I didn't think he'd miss the game. So I'm not shocked he showed up. I mean, the Niners kind of do this every year with their stars. By the way, it just shows you how big of a myth the cap is. They could pay all these players. Matthias writes in, I'm going to assume right now Reddick's out. His agent's a clown for letting him lose major money. I think his agent has done him no favors. I agree. Barbara says he's been taking advice from Lev Bell. Yeah, he has. Sounds like it. Green and white pinstripes. Not signing Reddick before the trade was a mistake. But you don't fix a mistake by making another mistake, giving him a long-term and or higher money contract. I agree. That's basically my take on this. The situation is a poor look for the Jets. It's a poor look for Reddick. But the Jets' solution shouldn't be to make another bad decision here. They kind of got to wait it out. And they better have been right about the Will McDonald pick. Because if Will McDonald plays well, you're not going to feel the sting of not having Hassan Reddick. Right? If Will McDonald goes out there and has 2 sacks on Monday night, it changes the tenor of the conversation. Carl says, this is an unnecessary distraction for a team gearing up for a winning season. See, here's why I don't think it's a distraction. He hasn't been there at all. I think Revis in 2010 could have been a huge distraction if they didn't get a deal done. right? Fitz's holdout in 2016, even saying that Ryan Fitzpatrick had a holdout, it's embarrassing, but that just shows you how sad the Jet quarterback situation was. That could have been a distraction. It was a distraction until they figured it out. Reddick hasn't been there. That's why I think if he held in, it would have been better. Like Jamar Chase being around the Bengals and not having a deal, they're lucky they're playing the worst team in football week 1, the Patriots. Otherwise, maybe it would be a huge distraction. Our first super chat of the show. It's from Bang Mateo. Hassan will lose $800K week 1 equals no sacks. He gains leverage. I really don't think he gains leverage if the Jets don't have any sacks on Monday. I think the Jets will look at it like, we played a really good team. It's week 1. Let's see how we do against the Titans and their O-line, which is not very good. New England, their O-line is in shambles. The Broncos, who are starting a rookie quarterback, and Sam Darnold, who, well, we know. Like, that's how I think the Jets look at it if they don't get any sacks and they lose week 1. Prestige writes in, speaking of Monday Night Football, Joe Tessitore did a great job on Monday Night Raw last night for his first time. You know, it's interesting. I didn't love Tessitore on Monday Night Football when he did it. I think he's great on college. My issue with Tessitore is he's obviously a phenomenal broadcaster as far as like energy and the voice. It just felt like with every play on Monday Night Football, this guy's the greatest. It's the greatest play. And it was just too much. But for wrestling, that's perfect because that's the job, right? And I think for college football, it works because each college game is, has huge ramifications because if you lose a game, well, it used to be like this. You lose a game in college, you might be out of the playoff. Now with 12 teams, it's not quite like that, but still, I think Tess plays better for college, and I'm sure he'll be great on Monday Night Raw. I don't watch wrestling, but for those of you who do, I think he'll do a good job. Matt P. is an Asmaniac for 5 months. He writes in, Reddick absolutely makes this D-line better, but the coaching staff has a lot of defensive line talent. Excluding Reddick, they got 6 former first-round picks. Yeah. I mean, no one could deny the talent level the Jets have without Reddick still on their defensive line. I mean, they have an all-pro defensive tackle and a Pro Bowl edge rusher without Haason Reddick. Jermaine was in the Pro Bowl last year as an alternate. All right, Quinnen's a first-round pick. Jermaine's a first-round pick. Kinlaw's a former first-round pick. Solomon Thomas is a former first-round pick. McDonald is a former first-round pick. All right, they have dudes. They do. Tack McKinley's a former first-round pick. There's your 6. Let's see. Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. There's 700 of you watching right now. If you're new to the show, we talk Jets every day on this channel. Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you know when we go live. Let's go back to your calls right now. We say hello to Indy Jets, who's next up. Indy, what do you got for us?
Hey, Jake.
Indy.
Hey, so I see people saying that he should have signed the contract before the trade, which is not possible in the first place, according to the CBA. But there is a clause in there because, I dove into this thing. There's a clause in there. They call it the good faith contract. And that's how they offer a contract to a team, to a person that's not on their team. And so he had to have agreed to this good faith contract before the trade. And then Haason backed out of it.
That's not what happened. They
have no other.
They had talks on a new deal. They didn't agree to a new deal. But reading the tea leaves, it feels like the Jets felt like they were close enough where they were comfortable making the deal. Nothing was official. They had it from Reddick's camp that he would show up to camp and they would continue discussions when that happened, and he never did.
And that's what this good faith contract is. It's not a set in stone, but they agreed to this before the trade.
Yeah, I mean, you just saw it with Brian Burns and the Giants. It happens all the time.
Right. And since they agreed to this, Haason, went ahead and they went through this trade. And now he says, well, no, that's not what I want to do now. We don't know for sure because it's just a good faith contract. But did it say in there that he needed to show up first? Well, according to Saleh, everything he said is saying that was the deal. is you show up and then we'll talk. And he's backed out of the deal. I don't think the Jets have done anything wrong. They did everything per the book, as far as per the CBA, to get him in the building, and he's just chose not to.
Well, there's no rule that says he has to go to the building. He verbally told them that he would be there for the offseason program and for training camp, and he wasn't. So, and then the Reddick camp is acting as if, that wasn't clearly communicated to them. But I actually believe the Jets did clearly communicate it with them based on how they put out the statement the way they did, and how even what Douglas said last week. Like, I think it all backs that up. But that doesn't make the Jets blameless here, Indy. They still shouldn't have made this deal unless they had a agreed upon contract.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. I think they had, an agreement of some sort. Whether they didn't have the dollar amount down, the agreement
that's the contract. The agreement was he shows up and they will continue negotiating. They made an offer. The Reddick camp leaked it out that it was a low ball offer. We still don't know what that offer was, by the way, because the reporting on this has been horrendous by everyone involved. And
terrible.
Yeah, and like that's my point. Like the only agreement they had was that he was going to show up and they would continue talking about the dollar part of that agreement, not him participating in off-season mini camp and then training camp.
Yeah, and so what little agreement that they did have, he chose not to even abide by that. And so I don't know what more the Jets could have done other than just offer him an astronomical amount right up front. Here's $28 million. As soon as you walk out of the Eagles building, we'll be in the parking lot and you sign the papers.
Well, that's what happens. That happens all the time. That happened with Tyreek Hill when he got traded. That happened with Stephon Diggs when he got traded. That happened with Trent McDuffie this offseason when he got traded. Like Brian Burns cross town when he got traded. Like, that's how this goes. That's where the Jets dropped the ball here.
Well, yeah, I if I put any blame on it, it's very, very little at best. I think Haason should have held to his word. I think the Jets would have probably paid him had he have just showed up to the at least, if he would have started camp, I think the contract would have been over with by now.
I hope so, but I think they could have had something worked out if he had shown up by now. I do think that's fair. But the issue is you could have just signed Jadeveon Clowney. You had him in your building. You only pivoted to Reddick after you couldn't get Clowney. So you were willing to bring in Clowney and sign him, but you didn't want to go past the number that the Panthers ultimately paid him. And then, obviously, this all could have been different if they just paid Bryce Huff. But clearly, they don't think Bryce Huff is worthy of the money that he got paid elsewhere. But even if that's true, and I do think Reddick is a much better player than Huff, if he doesn't play week one, and let's say he comes back and he's not the vintage Haason Reddick at some point, or he hurts his hamstring because he's not in football shape, let's find out who ends up having a better season this year. All things being equal, if you tell me Haason Reddick was there all summer and I could only have one guy for 1 year with contracts not being a factor, I'm taking Reddick over Huff. You factor in everything the Jets are now dealing with, then I think it was worth just keeping Bryce Huff or signing Jadeveon Clowney, beating the Panther 1 year, $12 million guaranteed contract, go to 1 year, 14 and call it a day. That's the problem here. Here for the memes has sent in a super chat. Nothing can get in the way of my excitement. This may be garbage news, but I'm just ready to crash through a wall live on the Jake Asman Show. Memes, if you call in and crash through a wall, I will absolutely broadcast it. Skip Money is the first to gift a membership. Once again, the offer stands. If you gift the big fella or Three Siblings J his channel membership, an item in the merch store is coming your way. Let's find out who got a channel membership here. It went to listener Ray Narvez. Thank you, Skip Money. Hit the money sign on the right and then hit gift membership. If you want to gift the membership, you got to be at your laptop or desktop in order to do it. For whatever reason, YouTube doesn't want to make more money and they won't let you do it from the iPhone. Dalt checks in with an Asmaniac super chat. Being part of something great and making history, people will always talk about forever or hold out and try for more money. That will ruin his rep. Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is Hassan Reddick is a 30-year-old pass rusher that relies on his speed to be great. If he doesn't play this year or doesn't play a lot of games this year and is not very productive, I don't see the path for him to then get paid, big money. That's what I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense to me. Hit the like button if you're tuning in. That does make sense. All right. Patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. You join the Patreon for less than a cup of coffee a month. You gain access to our Discord channel. If you're going to any Jet game this year, home or away, mainly the road games, because I'll be at most of the home games and I can direct you guys where to go for L5 and some of the other stuff we have cooking at these tailgates. But if you're going to any of the away games, right? Week 1, week 2, London, we have a tab for every single game in our Discord chat where you can connect with your fellow Asmaniacs and plan meetups, tailgates, find out if you're sitting near someone. So if you're looking for fellow Jet fans going to away games, join my Patreon. You'll gain access to the Discord, and then you can connect with everyone on there. You also get shows that are released early on Patreon and shows that are just Patreon only. So check it out, patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. Huge shout out to Jeff Della Rocca, Matias Morales, and Roy Kamaladian for being our 3 most recent Patreon subscribers. Comments, questions, super chats. Let's get right back into your calls right now. We say hello to Nate, parentheses, Nate. Hello, Nate.
Hey, Jake. Hope all is well. I hate that we're still talking about Reddick. I feel like we've been doing this for all offseason, months on end. I kind of agree with that guy, Indy Jets. I like the points he was making in terms of just like we know we saw with the Burns situation, we saw that with all these situations, like there is a verbal agreement. Something is agreed on verbally, and then they make the trade, right? So that and clearly Joe Douglas, I said this when I was calling back from training camp one time, like he put out that statement within minutes of Hassan's camp, requesting a trade or whatever went on weeks ago, which we obviously know that's not going to happen. And kind of, he made it very clear that what he said, the Jets have been kind of standing on all 10 toes the entire time. And it seems like Hassan Reddick at this point, especially, we've never seen anything like this. Like him, his agent, whatever it is, very foolish. But him and his camp are clearly the ones that are digging themselves in a hole. Like you said that it doesn't make sense what Reddick is doing. I completely agree. You said he's a 30-year-old pass rusher, speed rush. We've gone over this for weeks. Like it doesn't make sense what he's doing. Doesn't make sense for this year. Doesn't make sense for next year. But you're also Monday morning quarterbacking the Clowney situation, saying, yeah, you could have had this guy, you could have had this guy. But it's like what Reddick is doing is so out of this world. Like he wants to not show up and not play. The Jets are an NFL organization. They can pivot in 100 different directions. The NFL trade deadline is after week 9 this year. Reddick doesn't show up by week 10, I believe, week 9 or week 10. He's doesn't matter for this year. We have his rights for next year. Khalil Mack has 1 year left, and he's on the Chargers. I don't know if they're going to be great. Chase Young has 1 year left. He's on the Saints. They're going to be great. We can pivot. He can't pivot as a 30-year-old pass rusher. He has 1 year to make money as a 30-year-old now, and literally as a 31-year-old. This is his time, and he has to play for the Jets. So it's like he wants to keep digging himself a hole. Fine, like we'll see him selling cars. He has to play for the Jets. He has
but that hurts
leverage.
the Jets though, Nate. Yeah, great. The Jets eventually get him and they win the negotiation. Are they losing games along the way that they'd be winning if they had him? Right? Because he's replacing Bryce Huff. What do you mean you couldn't foresee? You didn't need to trade for him. You could have just signed Bryce Huff.
Yeah, you can't. But if that's what Indy Jets was saying, if they verbally agreed to something, and I don't think they verbally agreed
to anything contractually. I think that he gave them his word, according to the GM and basically everyone connected to the story, that he was going to be there for the offseason and he was going to be there for the start of training camp, and he wasn't.
You just said it. You just said Hassan gave him his word, so he went back on his word. That's verbally not. You know what I'm saying? They verbally agreed on something, and he reneged on it. So whatever it is, if they said, yeah, we'll pay you $20 million a year, just show up, and then he didn't show up, or yeah, we'll extend you, we'll give you guaranteed and incentives, then he didn't, and now he wants more. Whatever he's doing, he's going back on his word. It's very obvious at this point. So it's like you can't just guess that someone's going to do something so outlandish and go back on their word and then not show up week 1, not show up week 4, not show up until like who knows now. And I just want him to be in our playoff run, and if not, obviously we have to make a pivot or a move, but like these are circumstances that no one could have guessed. So to look back and be like, yeah, we could have had Clowney, but if I look back, week 17 and say Hassan Reddick showed up and has 12 sacks and Clowney has 3, well, yeah, then we can Monday morning quarterback that situation too. But
yeah, but I don't think it's Monday morning quarterbacking, Nate, because Hassan Reddick had an opportunity, right, to show up and he reneged on that, whatever. But everyone knew he wanted a new contract financially. So there was always a risk involved in all that. You could have had Clowney for just money on a 1-year deal. You could have just had Huff, who was in your building. And you could have signed him a year ago, and he wouldn't be even making the $17 million AAV he's making now for the Eagles if you handled it ahead of time.
On Huff a year ago. I agree on Huff a year ago. But I don't think Huff wanted to be here. I don't think Huff was ever an option this year. Huff wanted somewhere where he would get an opportunity to play 3 downs, and Joe Douglas and the Jets here never saw him as that player. I think when the season ended last year, he wasn't going to be a Jet. It was like a mutual parting of ways. He didn't want to be.
You don't want to give the Jets any blame at all for this Reddick situation. They're blameless here. The Jets are doing everything
Jake,
right.
I don't know what happened behind the scenes, but what Indy Jets was saying was that if there was a verbal agreement, just like when the Brian Burns, just like Tyreek Hill, and I get it's different because they're younger players that wanted max money in 3 or 4 years, whatever.
They talked money. All we know about the negotiation financially was Reddick was.
We don't know that.
We do.
You don't know that.
We do. They made a contract offer. Let's go, Nate. I will play you Joe Douglas, right? Being asked about it. This is what he said on the record.
Joe, where do things stand with Hassan Reddick right now?
Nothing's changed from our end. Obviously, a ton of respect first on, and awaiting his arrival, and looking forward to when he does. He's going to be welcomed with open arms.
Do you expect him to be here before the opener?
I can't lay out any expectations right now, but when he does arrive, we're all going to be excited.
How would you describe the communication with him and his team?
I would say clear and direct from the beginning, and I have a lot of respect for the agent as well. Again. The ball's in their court, and whenever he's ready to come here, again, we can't wait to have.
Why didn't you renegotiate the contract before executing the trade?
Well, I mean, in simple terms, we did talk about an extension once one wasn't agreed upon. We had the conversation, and we felt good about making the trade, and so. Obviously came here, reported, had a great day here, and again, we're just waiting his arrival.
Do you feel like there can't renege on a verbal agreement to play under his existing contract?
I'd say that again, from our standpoint, we've been really clear and direct with our communication, and again. A lot of respect for the agent, a lot of respect for the player, and I have faith that this will all get resolved.
I mean,
I wrote down what he said. That when Rich Cimini asked the question, did he renege? We've been very clear and direct. Yeah, he reneged. He just answered the question for you. He hesitated 6 seconds before answering that, and everything leading up to that was we've been clear and consistent. We've been direct the entire time. Once something wasn't agreed upon after he got here, we felt good about making the trade. To me, that's saying they had a verbal agreement.
But Nate, a verbal agreement for the guy to show up is not the same thing as a guy to have a new contract, which everyone knows you wanted.
You don't know that. They could have had a verbal agreement that said, when you show up to camp, we're going to guarantee you $20 million plus incentives. And then he's reneging on that. You don't know what was said behind scenes. I don't know what was said behind scenes.
That. That doesn't, but logically, that doesn't make any sense.
None of us know that. None of us know that.
That is not something that teams agree on. That's not like that. Give me an example of that happening.
It just happened. Okay, Matt Judon was just traded, and they agreed upon if he showed up, he would play under blah, 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 blah. And now it just happened. 2 weeks after Hassan did it, Matt Judon did it. He's playing for the Falcons.
He hasn't gotten a new contract, though. He's on his existing deal.
That's my point, was that they agreed to something, and he showed up and did it. And now Matt Judon's doing it. Hassan could have agreed to something, and now he's not showing up. That Rich Cimini asked that question. Joe Douglas, hesitating 5 seconds, answered it for all of us. We all know that. He said, did he renege? And it was, we've been clear and direct.
He reneged on an agreement to show up for the offseason and to show
But you're
up.
assuming that. You're assuming that. They could have reneged on, we're going to give you guaranteed money and incentives and 20 mil. And Hassan says, and his agent says, that sound good when we get here. And then when they get here and they trade JFM and all this,
I don't think it's the same thing. I don't think showing up for OTAs and showing up for training camp is the same thing as a financial agreement, which clearly they didn't have.
We don't know, though. We just don't know. We just don't know. That's the bottom line. It's like we can guess and all that, but we don't know what was said behind scenes. And like, to me, when Joe Douglas released a statement for the first time in his career, had it ready within minutes after the requesting the trade about like this is BS and blah 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 blah, like he had that ready, and then he's coming out in a press conference pretty clear with his stance and where they've been the entire time. It's just we don't know what's going on. We don't know what's going on, so we don't know what was verbally said. So it's hard to blame anyone at this point. If Jake, if it comes out that they traded for him and they hoped they would get a deal done, I will completely blame JD.
That's kind of what it sounds like. It sounds like Nate, all we know, we do know, Nate. There were multiple reports said that the Jets made an offer. The Reddick can't put it out there that it was a low ball offer. We know the Jets talked contract with him before the trade. They felt comfortable making the deal because I guess they figured they were close enough in whatever those negotiations were to make the deal. There's still a calculated risk involved in that. There's still fair criticism to the GM for not getting the deal done then and allowing it to get to this point. You don't know. It's a verbal agreement. You think the guy's going to show up. He hasn't. But you didn't talk like a binding contract with money. That's the problem. You sign contracts, man. A verbal agreement does not mean you have a deal. Yeah, we don't know, Nate. You can say that 1,000 times. We don't know. But based on reading the tea leaves on what's out there, I think both sides have a fair share of blame here. I don't blame the Jets for taking the stance they've taken once they made this deal and they took this calculated risk. Getting to this point only seemingly happens to the Jets. Why is that? They acquire a player everyone knew wanted the deal, and now they still have nothing worked out with the player. Like, unless Reddick's camp has completely changed the parameters of financially what he's asking for, which is possible, we don't know, but no one has said that, then how am I not going to sit here and levy some criticism in this to the Jets? Right? Unless the Jets felt like they were pretty close with the deal with Reddick financially, that they felt comfortable them making the deal. And then Reddick's camp said, whoa, wait a second. We actually want way more money than we were talking about. We saw Danielle Hunter get his money, and then you guys traded JFM, so we think we have more leverage now. We're going to ask for even more money. Like, if that happened, okay, but no one has said that. So we can come up with all these theories. The bottom line is, why does this seemingly only happen to the team we root for? When they had Jadeveon Clowney in their building and then only pivoted to Reddick after they let the worst team in football last year sign him. You can't tell me Reddick is that much better than Clowney, who had 9.5 sacks last year and is very good against the run. I mean, please. They did not agree to anything financially. And at the end of the day, it is a business, and the money is the only thing that truly matters. So they could have agreed for him to show up to minicamp, and then they would talk deal. Well, he hasn't, and this was a risk they were taking. And Reddick's camp is not blameless here either. They look like idiots. They're costing their client a ton of money. What's the benefit of him not showing up and now getting a game check? How does he win in all this? Some memberships have been gifted here as I was screaming with Nate. Love it. Jet football's back, baby. 5-channel memberships. Here we go. Dalt has gifted them. Let's find out who received them. Hey, Joe Douglas, wake up. Wesley Thompson, Ross, Kyle Clifton, and the big fella. Let's go. All receiving memberships. BP York, also now a channel member. All right, Dalt, here's what I need you to do. Message me. Shoot me an email. Asman Jake. I need your t-shirt size. I need your address. For coming through for the big fella, I'm sending you an item in the merch store. Congratulations. Shout out to everyone who just got a membership. Dennis, 5 more memberships. Let's go. We're getting back on track here.
Show me the money.
Show me the money! Money.
All right, here we go. We got 5 more names. As soon as YouTube will load this goddamn list of names here, I will be able to shout them out. I am not happy this morning. Let's see. Come on. I'm trying to get the names here for Dennis. But this chat is not loading because YouTube sucks. You suck, Mr. Tube. Hold on. We need 5 names. Stand by. God. I'll try and pull those up in a second. I got to continue with the show here. We got more super chats. Dennis, I apologize. Hold on. Curly writes in with a super chat. Another concern is even if Reddick reports last minute, he will have pulled a hammy by week 3 and will not be the same player all season. I've been saying this for months. You might win the negotiation, but if you don't get the same player you thought you were acquiring, you can't tell me that it was worth dealing with all this nonsense over either keeping your own in Huff or you had Clowney in your building and you let him go to the Panthers for 1 year and $12 million guaranteed. That's what the guarantee was. It was a 2-year deal with $12 million guaranteed. It was essentially a 1 year, $12 million deal. If you're the Jets, you couldn't beat that offer. I find that hard to believe. Skip Money with a super chat. I gifted from my Galaxy, LOL. Team Droid. Boo. But your thoughts. If the Jets get 5 to 8 sacks week 1, we still need Reddick, but he loses some leverage. I mean, if they have 5 to 8 sacks week 1, Reddick has no leverage. 0. How are they getting 8 sacks week 1? I'd love to see it, Skip Money, but I don't see that happening. I think if you're going to try and set an over-under on sacks in week 1, the number should probably be set at like 2.5. And I hope it's an over. Felix checks in. I just believe Reddick and his agent are looking for any type of leverage. One of us looking horrible on our pass rush against San Fran. 2, a major injury happens to one of our starting defensive ends. I've said it. The only leverage ploy I see the Reddick camp gaining is if there's a notable injury to someone on this defensive line. Because I don't think the Jets only having 1 sack and losing to San Fran means the Reddick camp has all this leverage. They're playing the Titans week 2. That's a bigger game than the Niners game. The Titans game's an AFC game. Your conference record could decide the division, the 1 seed, whatever. Everything the Jets are playing for. The wild card, if they don't win the division. That's a bigger game than losing a non-conference game to the Niners. If you think about it, it's a bigger game from the hype and publicity standpoint. It's week 1. It's Monday Night Football. It's Aaron's first game back. The bigger game's week 2. And the Jets are going to be a favorite week 2. The bigger game's week 3. Conference opponent, divisional opponent, and you're at home. So I don't think the Reddick camp, if they're just banking on, well, the Jets lose week 1, then they cave. I don't think they get leverage that way. They only get leverage if something, God forbid, happens to Jermaine Johnson or Quinnen. That's the bottom line. Nate says, still love you, Jakey Poo. Thanks for the time. Nate, I love you. We just disagree on the art of a verbal agreement. Freddie McKnight writes in, I wouldn't pay him until he reports. Let the young pass rushers ball out until Reddick joins the team when it counts on fresh legs. See you 12-8. Freddie, I don't think they're going to pay him unless he does report. I think the Jets are so dug in on that stance. At this point, I think that remains the stance. Felix Campos, a TED spot. I'm getting to these right away, man. All right, because the YouTube chat is acting up. And let's make sure we shout out who just received 10 spots of channel memberships from Felix.
Felix Campos, he wonderful, wonderful guy. He gives a lot of gift memberships and loves the Jake Asman show. Take the money.
Ladies and gentlemen, 10 channel memberships right here, right now from listener Felix Campos. All right, Felix, here we go. These are your 10. If you're one of the 814 people watching right now, smash that like button and click on Felix's name in the live chat. Turn on gift receipts, and maybe you're next to be gifted a channel membership. Vinny Farrow, T-Town Jet, DeAndre Vega, OG Jet Fan, Ryan Rivera, Cheeseman, Jamel Hayward, D-Rob, Ranger Fan 11, Joe Campanelli. You guys are all officially channel members. Hold on. That couldn't have been 10 names, could it? I guess it was. There you go. 10 spot right there. Let's make sure we didn't miss anything here. Stand by, stand by. Jay says, where can I get that 1968 championship shirt? Jay, you could get it with my friends over at Homage. I am putting a link right now for you in the live chat. Click that link, and you could get any of the clothing from Homage that you see me rock on the show. All right. Just put it in the chat. And I'll put the specific link to make it even easier to the 1968 Jets Super Bowl champion shirt. So if you're watching live, check the chat. If you're watching after the fact, check out the live chat replay. Big fella says, Dennis, the NY Jet fan, got 3 siblings as membership. Well, great. I'm glad someone told me. Thank you, big fella. All right, Dennis, email me. T-shirt size and address. We're sending you an item in the merch store. If Mr. Tube allowed me to show who got memberships, I would have shouted that out. Appreciate you, big fella. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Let's get back to your busy calls right now. We say hello on the Gusbuster hotline to this guy.
It's time for another V-Man call. Hopefully he's not on the toilet.
V-Man, hello.
Good. Yeah, good to see you. Man, this is just ridiculous. I mean, Reddick camp are a bunch of clowns at this point with this. It's like, you're right about it. It's the Niners. It's a non-day. It's week 1. It's not a big deal. It's not like you're going up.
Oh, V-Man, come on.
That's the end of this V-Man call. Time for him to get back to pooping.
The V-Man Wi-Fi acting up, folks. Tough. Real tough. Lio says, why would any other team want Reddick at this point? I mean, he has no trade value at this point. That's why you got him for so little in the first place. Jaden writes in, Jets 0-2 going into week 3. Book it. Yeah, I don't know about this one. We'll see you later.
I'm glad to be in Asman Shadow Realm.
Into the Shadow Realm you go.
Aaron Rodgers is a glutton for fame. I don't think he loves his teammates. I think he loves attention.
GFY. First word is go, and the last word is yourself.
Boom. Kevin says the defeatist attitude is gross. Yeah, I mean, let's calm down. They can win week 1 without Hassan Reddick. Matt from L5 checks in. We are 6 days away. The mustache is back. I'm all the way back in, and it's completely unhealthy. Jake, you look great as always. Matt, I will see you on September 19th. Inside of MetLife Stadium's parking lot in L5. Open phone lines for anyone who wants in on the conversation. NY Jets Florida says, I'm here to point that I don't really care at the moment about the Reddick situation. Well, I think that's kind of silly. You should care. A guy who's had 11 or more sacks 4 years in a row, who was acquired to replace a guy who had double-digit sacks for you last year. You don't care? Why? Orb says, is Reddick really willing to sit out for the year? I don't think so. But I didn't think we get to this point in the holdout, so who knows? Purple Belt Mike says, Jets win week 1 or Hassan shows up before I will do another purple rain. Purple Belt Mike going to drop some memberships for the people. Speaking of memberships, speaking of emojis, the Jake Asman merch store is doing a new merch drop this Friday morning. Friday at 9 a.m. We have our first ever Edgemo drop. Emojis are coming, baby. Every emoji, all your favorites that you see for channel members are being printed on T-shirts for you to buy. Your favorite Asmaniacs on T-shirts. You name it, and we're going to have it. JakeAsman.com/shop. It will be live in the store at 9 a.m. this Friday. So check it out. We even have ones in there that are no longer actual emojis for us to use. So enjoy your favorite Edgemos because they're all coming to the store this Friday once again at 9 a.m. Set a reminder if you want your Edgemo shirts. More calls right now. VR is up next. What's up, VR?
Hey, what's going on, Jake, man? I haven't called you for a while. I wanted to call you and say hello. Hopefully you had a great Labor Day weekend.
You look like a hologram, VR, but I'm good.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I'm disappearing a little bit here. I just wanted to talk about, I'm so surprised that everyone is up in arms about this Haason Reddick situation. I think people are thinking very linear and stagnant because it's, what happened in April when we got him is not the same landscape that, going into May, going into, the training camp, June and July and stuff like that. And, things have changed. And if you think that his agent, Tory Dandy, is some kind of pushover, look what he just did with, playing chicken with the Dallas Cowboys on CeeDee Lamb's contract. I think they won that pretty much, right? So, I mean, it's not going to be an easy, scenario with dealing with, the president of CAA as the agent for Haason Reddick at this point. And, the other point I wanted to bring on regarding Haason Reddick is, even if we do sign him, I mean, how effective is he going to be? He may get injured, 15 snaps into the San Francisco 49ers game. And I don't know, how I feel about that at this point either, rushing him out there, to play that game. So I'm going into this game against the 49ers as Haason Reddick is not going to be a factor in this game. The same way I'm going into it that Trent Williams is not going to be a factor in this game, or even to a certain extent, CMC is going to be a factor in this game. So, I think that the Jets have a good chance of winning this game. I didn't say that earlier, but I wanted to know your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so here's the thing, VR. Good call. I think these situations with Reddick and CD are radically different. CD was going to set a new high for receivers. He was the next guy up to get paid. He was going to either have a higher AAV than Justin Jefferson or more guaranteed money. There was going to be something the agent was going to be able to get for the client that'd be the highest ever, because he's at the top of the market. Reddick is not. Reddick is older than those players. And he's very good, but he's not in the TJ Watt, Myles Garrett camp, Nick Bosa camp, where when those guys get paid, they're going to reset the market. When Sauce gets his deal next year from the Jets, he's going to be the highest paid corner of all time. He'll be the next guy up, and it will be deserved. It's an easier deal. So, Reddick might have the same agent as CeeDee Lamb, but that doesn't mean it's the same situation. I think he's had terrible advice. But if he's dug in, he's dug in. He's costing himself money. I don't think the Jets are then going to give him, this multi-year deal. Lasso says, ready for that fantasy football draft today. Lasso, I'm ready, baby. The Circa League draft is tonight, folks. Get ready. Bunch of Asmaniacs are in that one. Ladies and gentlemen, he finally got his membership back. We say hello to the big fella. He's next. What's up, big fella?
Hey, I feel whole again, man. I feel whole again. Thank you for your support, for getting the membership back and everything. Appreciate it.
You were missing those Edgemos, man. It's Edgemo week.
I was missing those Edgemos. Speaking of the Edgemos, I'm looking forward to getting the big fella emoji t-shirt for my wife.
Yeah, if I had a PDF ready of it, I would show you what it looks like, but it will be there.
Are you gonna have like women tank tops and stuff like that, or just male shirts?
We're just doing shirts to start, but for your wife, I'm sure we could come up with a tank top.
I appreciate that, man. Now I saw that you're having a Hackensack meetup.
So I am a guest on Joe Beningo's podcast, and he's doing a show, a live taping of a show, live from the Hackensack Brewing Company on September 20th. So I'm going to be there, and I'm inviting everyone. It's a free event, with live podcast taping, and then we'll hang out, take pictures with fans. It'll be a blast.
That's awesome, man. That's not too far from me, so maybe
stop by. Yeah, have some the Pain beer that they sell there for Joe.
Yeah, maybe I'll pop in there. That'd be good. Now, getting a Reddick, I'm not worried about not having him, okay, but I do think it's really bad business on his end. I mean, the advice that he's getting from his agent, let's just say this. If I had an agent and he lost me $2 million and then told me to put out these stupid videos, these stupid workout videos trying to tantalize the Jets. His ass would be unemployed, man. It would not go well for him. You have to be able to, if you had a verbal agreement with the Jets, which I don't know if they did, but if they did, that's
Getting a business call?
Yeah, I got a phone, but don't worry about that.
How's the market today?
Market's doing like shit right now, but what are you gonna do? That's what I would say. If you had a verbal agreement, then you abide by that. But whatever. We're only 6 days away, Mark Sanchez days away from the start of the season. Or
Ray
Thomas
Lucas.
Thomas
Morstead,
right?
Yeah.
So looking forward to beating those San Francisco 49ers and starting off 1-0, baby. Let's go.
Big fella, 1-0 is the goal. From your lips to God's ears. Ladies and gentlemen, negative Peter Castro is back. Front office blows. That's the Peter Castro we love. There it is. A Jake Asman fan checks in. Jake, we win this game 25-13, period. 25 is such a random football score number. How do we get to 25? 3 touchdowns? No, that wouldn't even work. How about 2 touchdowns? Right, so that's 14. Field goal, 17. Field goal. And safety. 25 is an odd number, Jake Asman fan. But I hope you're right. A lot of infighting in the chat. Nate taking on all the haters. Adam says, Jake, Peter Schrager picked us to be the 1 seed in the AFC. That should be a show. Should it be? I don't know. Hassan Reddick not being there 6 days from the game feels like a bigger show. David is predicting 24-20 Jets. Is anyone predicting the Jets to lose week 1? I'm just curious. Bill D does the math. 3 touchdowns and 2 safeties. 3 safeties, 4 field goals, and a touchdown. Okay. Hey, from your lips to God's ears, Bill. Matt says, I placed $100 on the Jets to win the Super Bowl today. I love it, Matt. What odds did you get of that? Sam Jones says, how do I get a membership? Sam, it's very easy, right? The YouTube algorithm rewards randomized memberships to people who are subscribed to the channel. So hit that subscribe button. It's free. It's on the right side. You just click it. It takes a second. People who like the video you're watching. There's 800 people watching, only 300 likes. So 500 of you have not liked the video. And whoever watches the longest, basically, who tunes into the most shows. And then it's randomly assigned. Ladies and gentlemen, we get back to your busy calls right now. A lot of people want in on the conversation. A lot of questions out there. Is Hassan Reddick taking advice from Le'Veon? Maybe he is, maybe he's not. One thing is for certain, though. This guy will get us back on track. We say hello to our king, King Lowski.
Jake, my brother. It's always good to see you on this Tuesday, my brother. I just got a couple of quick points. Won't take you much of your time. This Hassan Reddick thing is pissing me off, man. Seeing Trent Williams sign this morning, him get his contract, him gonna be in the building week 1. It's really getting on my nerves, and I tell you why, man. Because as an organization, as a Jets organization, when are y'all gonna say enough is enough of these damn headlines, of these damn stories, and these distractions from the season, man? When are we gonna say enough is enough? Okay, I get it. The verbal contract and all of this. Hey, man, what's on black and white? What's on paper? This is a business. Okay, this ain't about no verbal agreement. This ain't about who reneged on this. It's about what's on paper, what's on black and white. Okay, and at this point, it's ridiculous as an organization, as the damn Jets, that y'all don't have something on black and white in writing. Okay, now I get it from the standpoint Hassan said this, Hassan said that. He's getting bad advice. We all know that. But as an organization, when are you gonna think before you act? Okay, when are you gonna say, damn, should we really bring this man in the building to distract us like this? I understand that the contingency is maybe he'll do this, maybe. Hey man, what's on paper? I gotta know what's on paper, Jake. Okay, unless it's null and void. Okay, a man and his word is nothing in this business. It's nothing. So at the end of the day, as an organization, you get y'all act together. Don't expect for these players to act right, okay? Because we've been screwed over years after year after year by players, okay? So as an organization, when are we going to get our act together? Okay, because this is sickening, man. So, you know, I mean, the Trent Williams thing is really getting to me. Like I guess it's getting to everybody else. That's why everybody got these questions about Hassan. We see CeeDee Lamb get signed. Okay, Jamar Chase is still in limbo, but that's a whole nother situation. Okay, we see all these other players get signed, man. Get the job done. We are tired of this. We are in for a Super Bowl run, not a playoff run. Not a wild card run, a Super Bowl run. Okay? Let's get our act together, baby, because it's pissing me off. We about to get in these white lines this week. This week. Football starts, and it counts. Okay? So let's get our act together. Forget all the distractions. Forget all the headlines. Forget all the side stories. We got the main story. A Super Bowl, baby. Jets!
Ladies and gentlemen, King Lowski bringing the passion that this fan base has. It's crazy that this is still a thing. It really is. And like that's why I gave Douglas the benefit of the doubt when the deal was made. I'm like, they must be pretty close in the contract talks that they were comfortable making this deal. And then we find out, well, they never really had anything agreed to, and all they agreed to is that he was going to show up and they would continue negotiating. That's all we know. And then Nate could say, we don't know what happened. Oh, that's everything that's been reported. So what am I missing? Both sides look horrible here. I gave Joe Douglas too much credit when they made this deal. Because I just figured, well, you're not making this deal unless you felt pretty comfortable you're going to get a deal done. You must have been close. But in agreement to show up to then negotiate the money, yeah, that's an agreement that the Reddick camp seemingly is reneged on, but like that's not concrete. It's all about money. Reddick camp deserves blame. Jets, though, don't get the benefit of the doubt. They haven't earned it. Make the playoffs, you know, for the first time since 2010, you'll start to get the benefit of the doubt. But when you're the longest playoff drought in sports, when you haven't had a winning season in almost a decade, no one wants to hear it. No one wants to hear it. Very frustrating. That said, when Monday night comes, with or without Hassan Reddick, Brock Purdy, you're running for your life.
Is Brock Purdy going to run for his life on the opener? Yeah! He's going to die. Let's go. J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets. Let's go.
Yeah. Let's go. More calls right now. Ladies and gentlemen, we say hello to this guy.
The only thing better than Alden shoes is Joey D, cause he totally rules. Jake, my brother, I'm high as a kite. I love everybody. Damn, this show is crazy. Jake, my brother,
Mr. Bonesy, hello.
What's up, buddy? Hold on, let me turn this sound off because it's terrible. So everyone's a little aggravated this morning. I see it in everybody's voice, everybody's mannerisms. This is I think we're overreacting, guys. Jake, yourself, right? If we were to ask you, right, before we made this deal, right, I don't believe the Jets were going to sign anyone else after Reddick. I feel like it was a little late in the game. And I don't think there was much talent out there that we felt could improve our team.
Clowney.
But nope, right?
Clowney.
But Clowney chose to take a couple more million to go play in Carolina for nothing, and instead of taking $2 million less and chasing a ring.
But that was their replacement.
But I'm saying, like, he didn't want to play with us.
Well, they didn't offer him the most money. That was the difference.
True, but
you think Jadeveon Clowney is choosing the Panthers over the Jets? No, you look at his last 3 deals with teams. He goes to the team that pays him the most. He's a mercenary.
Agreed. But all I'm saying is the Jets are very confident in their talent that we have on the roster. You can tell by how they've been treating this whole Haason Reddick thing.
They also have to say that.
What?
They also have to say that.
All right, well, we're going to see. We're going to see Monday night. If he doesn't show up, we're going to see how we perform without him. And if we traded a third round in how many years away, and if someone was to sign him after our contract, we get that pick back. It was basically a free deal. So for you to be mad that, not you, but for everyone to be mad that Joe Douglas made that deal on a verbal commitment from their side that they're going to show up and at least negotiate, I just feel like we're overreacting. Obviously, Hassan Reddick, something's going on that he's not happy. So he's playing. I've said it. He's waiting for this first game. If we come out and we play fine and win and get a couple sacks, he's going to show up with his tail in between his legs next week. But if we lose and we don't get much pressure and it's a glaring hole, everyone's going to go nuts, and we're probably going to have to give in to Hassan Reddick. But nobody in this fan base wants to pay Hassan Reddick an extension and risk hurting us financially to pay Sauce, JJ, Garrett. We're not risking any money. We knew that because we didn't bring Huff back. We're not putting any money into that because we have to pay too many guys. So I just feel like for what we did to get Hassan Reddick, we're going to get that third round pick back if he signs somewhere else.
Yeah, but they weaken their team, Bonesy. They still weaken their team. They don't have Bryce Huff. They don't have John Franklin Myers. And if you don't have Reddick, you're trying to replace, 3 guys that you were, counting on a year ago, or we're going to count on this year. Like you're still weakening your team. I understand the Jets' logic not wanting to pay him multiple years. So then pay a little more in year 1 to get Clowney on a 1-year deal, because that's what they were trying to do. They just Joe Douglas has his price and he doesn't budge on it. Well, maybe sometimes you should budge on it a little bit in an all-in year where if you don't win, you're not the GM next year in all likelihood.
But maybe he's looking at Clowney as not a needle mover. Maybe they believe in what they got more than you do. Maybe they're looking at it like, no, Will McDonald's going to eat. Just wait. And
they added Reddick after not getting Clowney. They don't add
because
Reddick.
It was free, because it was easy. It was cheap. It was nothing. It was a third-round pick 3 drafts away. And if he signs somewhere else, we get it back.
Right, but it's not nothing, though. It was still $14.5 million as a base salary, and you knew you were going to need to pay him. So you could have had Clowney for less than all that. You could have had Clowney probably for 14 if he signed for 12 with Carolina.
Do you believe that do you have confidence in this coaching regime that the 3 UDFA rookies that we signed, that any of them will be talented enough to kind of hold the fort down a little without Reddick?
Yeah, but I think we're kind of flirting with disaster here, right? What if now there's an injury to a key defensive lineman and then you're really sure, right? Like I still think they have a very good defense. I don't think they could win the Super Bowl unless they have Haason Reddick playing at a high level at some point for this team later in the season. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I just don't feel like we should be overreacting yet. We should see what happens on the field. We should see how the roster looks, how the D line looks, playing with a lead. we got some dogs on there. It's not like we're not good at getting these defensive linemen to play well and, improve their game. So I think everyone's getting a little too mad about this easy deal that nobody else wanted to get Haason Reddick. Nobody wanted to pay him. It was literally nobody. And he gave us a verbal agreement, and now he went back on his word, and Joe Douglas ain't budging. I mean, I don't know. It's a tough situation. I got to see I got to see what happens on the field before And you know what? It's gone so bad for Hassan with no injuries. We didn't get nobody. Dude, one little thing could have changed this whole dynamic. One little injury, even a calf, someone hurt, hurt hamstring, something easily could have gave Hassan this needle, but everything has gone against him. And if we come out Monday night and play well and win, he's coming next week with nothing, and we win the deal. So let's see what happens.
Bonesy, I appreciate the call. You're not as good of a team without him. You have not replaced Bryce Huff. We have no idea what Will McDonald is. Yeah, you can put your faith in the coach and the staff, and they still should have a very good defense. But the idea that, wait and see, all right. But I want to win games, man. And this is not helping you win games. For those asking for the call-on link, it is in the same spot it is always in. It is pinned in the live chat. So just click that, and you will be good to go. Good luck to Tom Ace, who writes in. Going to try and do the impossible and listen to the show while conducting a job interview. I like to live dangerously. First question for Tom in this interview. How much money do you make before taxes? For those saying the link is not pinned, Jay, I am looking at it, but I will post it again anyway. Hold on. It is very clearly pinned in the chat, though. I guess it's not coming up for everyone, so I'm posting it again. BX Farrow says, Jake is grumpy today. Yeah, I'm tired of this bullshit. I really am. It's only the Jets that deal with stuff like this. That's why some of you are just blindly defending the Jets as if they did nothing wrong here. It's insane to me. Only the Jets deal with this shit. Only them. Only them. And you could and Reddick's camp looks foolish here too, but this was entirely preventable. It's like I'm not allowed to criticize the Jets. Oh, Joe Douglas, all he does is do great things. He's a good GM who has made some significant mistakes. He's not immune to criticism. I mean, it's so annoying. More calls right now. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going right back to the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline, and we say hello to this guy. Yeah! Hello, Rob.
Good morning, Jake. I was listening to Nate, and I was listening to Bonesy, and of course, listening to you. And I don't know. Somewhere in the middle lies the truth of what the hell's going on. I do agree with you. The Jets dropped the ball a little bit too. It's a little bit on them. But obviously, Hassan is getting really bad advice from his agent. And if I was Hassan, I would beat up his agent. I'd say, get in this room on a clothesline your ass. Well, what the hell is he doing? He's already lost nearly $3 million. The Jets do have the leverage contract-wise. They do. Right or wrong, they do it. You want to make this guy happy. I get it. And it's true. You want to make him happy. But you know what? The Jets do have the leverage in that standpoint. So all you're doing right now is losing money. So what type of advice is this idiotic agent giving him? What you're doing is wrong. Obviously, you're going to be losing millions of dollars. And now you're going to have incentives just to make up for the millions of dollars that you already lost. So that's huge mistake number one. I mean, so they got to come to some type of agreement, because I kind of agree with you, Jake. This could have been all avoided if they re-signed Huff, or if don't let Clowney leave the building. Clowney was offered 12, give him 13, 14 million, like you said. And you know what? Clowney is close to Hassan. He will give you 9 or 10 sacks. He is great against the run where Huff is not as good. But, you know, you might want to sign Huff because he's homegrown, he's younger, he can get more opportunities and grow into that position. But safeguard yourself. Don't go through all this crap because you're getting ridiculed for everything that you do, Joe Douglas. Some people are on the fence with him. Some people hate him like a Gary, but then you got Bonesy who loves him. And I'm somewhere in the middle there. But you know what? This could have been all avoided. All you had to do was either resign Huff for $17 million a year. In the grand scheme of things, would have been a lot cheaper than paying Hassan 20 plus, or signing Clowney. And that's all you had to do. That's all. And they brought this upon themselves. So yes, this is a little bit on the Jet organization too. So that's where I see your point. And you know, Nate's going on, and Bonesy's going on and on, but they got to take responsibility for this also, because they're also partial to blame. And we're sitting here, Jake, and it pisses us off as Jet fans because, you know, we want to be pumped up for game one against the Niners. And the only thing that I can think of is, you know what, out of sight, out of mind. He was never ours to begin with. We didn't practice with him. We didn't have him last year. I don't have any great memories of Son. But here's the things that they forget. Jake, minus Huff, minus JFM. So now you are slightly weakened. So that's where I'm with you when you said that. 100%, buddy, 100%.
I mean, yeah, it's just it is unfortunate that this is even a thing. It was preventable. Doesn't mean they can't have a great year. Doesn't mean they can't even win Monday. But it's just very annoying. And I at this point, I put more of it on Reddick than I even do the Jets. But why does this only seemingly happen to the Jets? That's what's annoying. Zach Rosenberg checks in, and he wants it to be known to everyone that he's a 2025 lacrosse goalie. Thank you for the super chat, Zach. JD got fleeced by Howie. Screwed up the MCD pick last year. Could have kept Huff, JFM, and drafted a receiver in the first round last year. Once MCD was drafted, Huff was out the door. I don't know if we could say he screwed up the McDonald pick. I'm not willing to say that yet. Let's see what Will McDonald ends up being. He better be good, though, because you could have had a receiver there. Yeah, I mean, I think it did contribute to Huff leaving. You know, there's a perception, oh, Huff didn't want to be here. I don't know about that. He wanted to be paid. The Eagles paid him the most money. The Jets never made an offer. Huff didn't want to be a Jet. We don't know that. He's never said that. He just said he wanted to be paid. Which, can you blame him? He was a UDFA who made nothing the first 4 years of his career. That's free agency. Guys go to the most. Guys, 99% of the time go to the team that pays them the most. Kyle Clifton says, not only the Jets, Atlanta did the same thing, and player was reasonable. But Judon's going from like a brutal Patriots team. He's 32. It's similar, but not exactly the same thing. And look, Reddick has screwed the Jets here, but you didn't need to get into the Haason Reddick business if you just either kept Huff or paid Clowney. That's my point. So I don't even blame the Jets for the stance they're taking. I think they're handling it the right way from this point on. I'm just annoyed that you had Jadeveon Clowney in your building. You know, you had Douglas raving about how great of a visit it was. And then he signs with the worst team in football last year. And, oh, but Jake, he wanted to go home. No, he didn't. That's what they're going to spin because he happens to be from that area. He didn't want to go home. He wanted to go to the team that paid him the most. And the team that was the worst in the NFL gave him $12 million guaranteed. The Jets came with 13 or 14. They get him. I covered Clowney in Houston. He's a mercenary. That's why he went from Seattle to Cleveland to Baltimore. He doesn't care. He wants to be paid the most. I respect it. He plays well. He had 9.5 sacks last year on a team that was the 1 seed in the AFC. He's still a good player. You could have had him without any of the headaches right now. King Lowski, he's been an Asmaniac for a full year. And in honor of such a great achievement, I play this. Is Reddick getting us over the hump to win a Super Bowl, or can we win this without him? I think they need him if they want to win the Super Bowl. I think he's that good of a player. Because there's going to be other injuries along the way. So we'll see. I mean, if the Jets stay perfectly healthy on both sides of the ball, I think they probably still have a Super Bowl roster. If you tell me a top 10 quarterback still or top 5, right? But you make it harder. There's a reason why they added this guy. You know, this idea that, oh, it was a luxury. No, they tried Clowney. They didn't get him. So then they pivoted to Reddick. They clearly viewed their team as a team that needed another pass rusher in the offseason. Maybe the thought process internally has changed a little bit. Maybe they truly do believe in Tack McKinley and some of these UDFAs, or McDonald's going to take that jump. But these are all risks. We're trying to mitigate the risk the Jets have. We already have enough if this happens with this player. Most of them being health related. Kyle says, Judon making 40% of Reddick's deal. Yeah. He's also a couple years older, though, too. Nate writes in, people just comparing Clowney to Reddick like they're the same player. Clowney's closer to JFM than Reddick. Please read Boomtown's comment. Nate, I'm just telling you, Clowney had 9.5 sacks last year. He's a really good football player. He would have played on a 1-year deal for the same amount of money Reddick's making. And if Reddick misses week 1, or he comes back and he's not in shape, or he gets hurt, or he's not the same guy, let's find out who had the better season when it's all said and done. If it ends up still being Reddick, great. I hope that happens. I'm just saying, when they had Clowney in the building, I was a big advocate for just signing him then. So this is not revisionist history. Ladies and gentlemen, how about this super chat from Zach Rosenberg? 2025 lacrosse goalie. Thanks for announcing full screen. You never know if there's a college lacrosse coach and a Jet fan who's watching this channel will check out my highlights. Always marketing. Zach, send me a link to your highlight tape, man. I want to watch. Lacrosse goalie Zach Rosenberg, baby. Love it. Hit the like button. If you're just arriving, there's 740 of you tuned in right now. Also, Zach, if you need custom lacrosse gloves, there's someone I know that could hook you up with that. Ladies and gentlemen, we say hello to 3 siblings Jay, who is now a channel member. Hello, Jay.
Jake, how you doing, man?
Jay, welcome back to membership land.
Yes, I appreciate it. Thank you. I think it was, I forgot who it was, but thank you for giving my membership. I appreciate it. I just want to bring up some points really quick. It may sound redundant because it's really 2 sides it could be on. But honestly speaking, Hassan Reddick, he sat out last year from OTAs. He didn't come at first. He won a new contract in. He played out his whole year this year. And now we're the only team out of all the 30 other teams that could pick him up that trade for him. Like, come on. Oh, yeah, we got him for a 3rd-round pick because he wants a new contract. You don't get a guy that wants a new contract. It's in his last year of his deal to say, hey, we're just going to pick you up. We're going to just handshake it. Let's do that. No, that's not how business works, because just like the players, the teams, they cut people off their contracts. They don't play out their whole contracts. So the player's going to do what the player is best for the player. We have to put that in perspective. We're Jets fans, and I get that. But JD messed up. No one wants to hear JD is this perfect guy to people. He's not, man. I don't want to sound like Gary. He's 30 games under 500. Like, he has to prove stuff, man. He makes mistakes just like this. We had JFM. We left Huffwell. We got Reddick. Then we trade JFM. What do you think Reddick's going to do? Sit out. People saying don't need to panic. When are we supposed to panic? We're 6 days away from the game. When's it to panic? We didn't panic all season. Like, JD messed up. We have a huge hole at D-line. And I just need people to understand, like, hey, I understand you tried to fix the situation, but getting Reddick on a 1-year deal, he doesn't have any more guaranteed money after this season. It was stupid. And almost anyone in the league wouldn't do that in the NFL, but the Jets did. That's all I have to say, Jake. I appreciate your time. Thank you. You have a great day.
Jay, before you go, give me a little nobody out pizzas the hut.
Nobody out pizza the hut.
There he is. Let's go, Jay. I love it. Yeah, look, I'm a Joe Douglas fan for the most part. I'm just not blinded by the guy. He's done some really good things, a la this roster being as talented as it is. But we can't ignore all the other stuff. And also, he's had a lot of time to build this roster, too, so they should be good by now. He's in his 6th year as the GM of the team. 5th full offseason. I'm not going to count the first year. He got hired in June. but he tore it down and he built it up, and it's a really good team. But this is a big situation here. This defense has been the biggest strength of the team the last 2 years. It needs to continue to be that strength for them to be a Super Bowl team. And without Reddick, it makes it harder. We're putting a lot of faith in Will McDonald right now. Tack McKinley, Michael Clemens. We got to see it. That's the thing. Nate has gifted 5 channel memberships. Thank you, Nate. Nate, parentheses, Nate. We agree to disagree, but we agree on memberships. M. Saul Cavi, Darnell Baker, Reggio, Treventures. You guys are all officially channel members. Let's go. Let me check to see how many we are away from another channel, Edgemo. It's Edgemo week on the show. Friday morning, Edgemo shirts launching in the store. JakeAsman.com. Get ready. Get ready. It's all happening. Here's what we're going to do right now. This is going to be a long stream. I still got a bunch of people on hold, so I'm going to come right back to your calls. But first, we'll take a quick break, and we come back. If you're still watching, subscribe to the channel. Like the video. More coming up. It's the Jake Asman Show right here on YouTube.
The New York Jets.
Come on!
Select Will McDonald, linebacker,
What?
Iowa State.
What the
Let's
fuck?
go.
I can't believe this shit!
All
What
right.
the fuck happened to the
Hey, there we go. Light it up, Ricky. Yeah. Let's get back to your calls right now. One of our favorites is on the Ghostbuster hotline. Ricky NY joins us now. What's up, Ricky?
Hey, Jake.
Hey, Ricky. How you doing?
Thanks for taking my call, Jake. I just finished smoking all the available weed in the panhandle, so bear with me if I collapse here in front of my personalized flag. Any chance you could send that boxing guy, Gary, to the Jameis Winston town? Maybe Gator can build a special hall for quarterbacks who throw more interceptions than completed passes. Well, not a Florida guy, but can go to Seminoles all the way there. If you got a whole lot, get all of them in there. I don't give a shit. Well, I think I got to relight this thing. Hold on a second. I just got this new blowtorch lighter. Let's try it out. Try it. Oh, Jesus Christ. Should have backed off that setting a bit. Anyway, Jake, I'll hang up for now and grab the burn kit again. Later, brother.
Oh, my God.
Yo, Gator is different, man. That dude is different.
Let's keep going with the calls right now. It looks like, wow, I cannot believe this guy actually showed his face. A man who owes us 25 memberships in honor of 25 career interceptions by Zach Wilson. Hawk has called in for the very first time. Hello, Hawk.
Hey, Tyson, what's up, man? Hey, Jake, before you send me to the Shadow Realm, let me ask Tyson about Zach. Tyson, don't you think we can keep Zach Wilson and just let him start the first few games? I mean, we all know the kid just needs another year behind center, and that'll really get him going. I mean, Crowan, man, you know he's freaking awesome, bro. Marin win.
Oh, man, you're killing me.
Hawk, thank you for calling in, and we'll see you in the realm.
Into the Shadow Realm you go.
That's the problem with Aaron Rodgers. This guy is a cancer that's metastasized throughout the entire building in Florham Park. And I don't know why Jets fans can't see it.
Or, here's another idea that's going to be very controversial. You could shut the fuck up.
Whoa. You don't need a quarterback. You need a good football player. That's what I'm saying about Brock Bowers. You need a good football player.
Gary has called back in. He's relentless tonight, man. Gary, what do you got?
What's going on, Jake? I'll live fired up today. Let me ask you something. If you could get 30 touchdowns out of Jameis Winston and 30 interceptions, I'll tell you about him. Caleb Williams is help him the third round, and if he gets knocked down in round 7, I mean, his fight's going to go to the scorecard. It's probably fixed anyway. I mean, I disagree with you like 100%. what you did miscalculating about not taking Joe Milton over Zach, a draft prospect. I mean, knockouts don't matter if you land enough jabs and you would have split decision. You don't need a quarterback for a 12-round fight. I mean, you get the tight end. You get the tight end. Joe Milton. Knockouts don't get the tight end because Bauer, he's not going to hold the ball as long as Caleb Williams. He'll just allow it to himself and catch it and score down the ring, and then it's a knockout fight. Wait, hold on, Jake. I think I owe you an apology. I just realized I called into your Jets show. Thought I was doing the boxing thing and I freaking crossed all my thoughts. Anyway, we should take Joe Milton and take Tyson over Jake Paul in round 3 of the draft. Thanks, Jake. Kid is a douchebag.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Gator. What a moment in time that was, huh? Oh, my God. Ladies and gentlemen, the Nate emoji that Gator made to honor Nate's hairiness is ready to roll in 15 memberships. I just checked during that commercial break. So I know there's some discussion of a Nate Edgemo. I can't guarantee it will be a permanent one because the reality is we got to keep rotating the best ones based on this Fakakta YouTube emoji game, but it is ready to roll. So if you want Harry Nate to be an option, we need about 15 more members. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get back into your calls right now. More on Hassan Reddick, of course, NY Jets, Florida, who met Mr. Bonesy at Alden Shoe Store last week, has called in. What's up, Ted?
Hey, Jake. Good morning. The only thing we're missing is conversations about, Zach Wilson's a bust and, some of these other takes that we're missing. Jake, maybe we should be having this conversation next Tuesday. Most of this conversation about Reddick, I really think at this point they have the high confidence of what they have in the locker room. So I think if they didn't, Reddick would already be signed. You know what I mean? I think this is the way this plays out. It's a tough situation that we don't know. Like Nate said, we really don't know both sides. But it sounds like JD had some kind of guarantee from Reddick's agent. I don't know what it was. It is what it is now. Let's just go in with what we have. And I really think these young players are going to flash big time. And the McKinleys, the Taylors, I think you're going to see these guys. Like I said, the confidence I think they have in the room has to be through the roof if they're not feeling the heat for Reddick. And if we do, if they're wrong, then they'll certainly hear about it Tuesday.
I think it's what it comes down to at this point. If he's not going to play, if they win without him, the Reddick camp, I think they're out of options. If there's an injury or they don't get any pressure, I guess you could argue there's some leverage there, but I only think an injury helps Hassan's camp at this point. I think the Jets took a calculated risk with this deal, and they're lucky that they have a really good defensive coaching staff that still should be able to develop some pass rush talent. Like, we'll see. I think Monday we'll learn a lot about this team. If they win without him, I mean, I think if you're Haason Reddick, you better show up the second the team gets back from San Fran because you're only hurting yourself even more at that point.
Yeah, exactly. That's about all I got, Jake. I'm still hanging.
How was Alden? Did you enjoy seeing
play.
Bonesy?
I had to go twice, Jake. I had to go. We were so my daughter loves the city. She's 16. She wants to live there. So we went everywhere. We skipped the last trip. Went to the Brooklyn Bridge, went to the pier. Went to a few other places. But I missed Bonesy on a Friday. Ironically, I thought he would be working on a Friday, but I guess he's off Fridays. But it was great to see him. It's like meeting family, Jake. I was trying to get out. I was trying to get out there this Monday because the flights are cheap, but the hotel rooms are high. I was actually going to try to make the meetup. I think the meetup would be a blast. It would be, to me, over a game to go to Jersey. I think I'd rather go to the city for a night and hang out with all the Asmaniacs. You know, even when I met Bonesy, and I'm sure when you met all the fans that you never met before, it's like you know them. You know, you just kind of you know who they are. You know what they like. You know where they stand on the Jets. You know, I knew Bonesy lives in Poughkeepsie. I know he commuted. I know he has 3 kids. You know everything about him. I know about Alden's. So
you know his social security. Yeah.
Nah, that I don't know. But anyway,
Yep.
Jake, that's about all I got. I hope I'm still trying to get out there Monday, but we'll see. But I appreciate it. Let's just pump the brakes a little. I got a little upset in the chat because I said I didn't care. You know, I'm to the point where I don't care. You know, let's just let this thing play out. Are we going to battle every day over Reddick for the next 5 days? We have an unbelievably solid, deep team this year. So that's the way I'm going. Let's just get to, let's get to trying to get to the red zone on Sunday, get the feeling of a first weekend in football, and then we can wait till Monday. Thanks, Jake.
Ted, I appreciate it. The one benefit of the Jets not playing till Monday is we do get a full red zone day on Sunday. I'm on ESPN New York from 4 to 8. So while you're watching some football, flip on the radio, ESPN New York app, and you get to hear me react to all the week 1 action. Giants play at 1 that day, so I'll be following that. It'll be fun, man. But Monday's going to be a long day of waiting. That's why if you're coming to my event at T-Squared, come early, man. Get your food in you. Get your drinks in you. Because when we get to 8:15, it's game time. Lock in. I'll be there before 7. So you can get there as early as you want. But let's pack this place in Monday night. If you're coming, RSVP. It's free to do so, and it will take you about 30 seconds to do so. You just click the RSVP link that I have posted in the description for the video that you are watching right now, and any of the videos or shows that you've been watching. Let's go, baby. Woo! How about this fraud in the chat right here? Carly writes in, the game doesn't start till 8:15. Oh, my God, I'm leaving at halftime. No, you're not. No, you're not. As if it's too late that the game will end probably like 11:30, 11:45. Let's confirm this. I received a text message from you at 11:57 p.m. You're going to leave at halftime. I don't buy it. Everyone boo this fraud. Boo. Leaving at halftime. No one's leaving at halftime. The party's only beginning at halftime. Hopefully the Jets have a big lead at halftime. That'd be nice. You just know no matter what happens, this game's going to be stressful. More calls right now. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now is someone who had quite the debut as a caller just the other day. He used to go by the name Bobby's Gooch, but Bobby made him change it. We say hello to Sean, who joins us now. Hello, Sean.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I just wanted to call in and show that I'm a real Jets fan. I'm not just some parody account trying to ride on Bobby's coattails. First point, and I will address the Bobby situation yesterday because it was my debut. He's already went on and spent minutes talking about me, so I definitely want to address that. But real quick with the Jets. Obviously, none of us were in the office. None of us know what conversations were had between the agent, Haason, the Jets. It was a calculated risk, as you said, Jake, but there's still time for that risk to pay off. And this could become a Chris Jones situation like with the Chiefs last year. Hassan's obviously hoping someone gets hurt or we get blown out in week 1. We may not beat the 49ers, but we're sure as hell not going to get run around and embarrassed. So I just don't think that that's going to pay off for him. And this organization has been a clown show for over a decade. So even if the trade didn't go the way we hope, and again, we don't know that yet, I do want them to take themselves as a serious organization, because what they do with Hassan now is going to set a precedent with other free agents in the future. Because if we're going to be a legitimate team again, how we're presented to the league and the players is important. And also the big name guys, the younger guys on our team that are going to need to get paid. They've been in the locker room. They've been putting their blood and sweat into this team. And this is going to go a long way to how they view the team as well. So, that's just my take on that. Basically, we just need to see how it goes. If he comes in week 2, realizing that whatever him and his agent were trying to do isn't going to work, and he refocuses on being the best player he can so he can, get the bag on the back end, then you still have to say for a 3rd-round pick, if he plays well, miss him for a week or 2, still worth it. So that's what I've got on that. And then, as far as Gary, like I said, yesterday a little bit, I respect Gary. He's an OG. If this channel had a Ring of Honor, he'd be in it. So, with the name, it's flattery, because like a gooch, Bobby is the glue that keeps this channel together. And, so that's why, I went with that particular body part, is because it's a metaphor for what Bobby is to this group of Asmaniacs. So, had a lot to say there, but thanks for the time.
Sean, thank you. Beautifully said. Also, that was yesterday he called. Why do I feel like that was a while ago already? That was only yesterday? Man, it's been a long week. It's going to be a long 6 days trying to get the Monday, man. Oh, my God. Bobby's gooch, man. I hope he becomes a regular. Yeah, that was an interesting one. Omar writes in, see you all in week 1. Let's go Jets. Omar, bring us home a W, all right? Get us a win. Folks, the Nate Edgemo is ready to go, but we need about 15 members. So heads up on our next Edgemo update here. Nate, would you want this on a shirt if we put this in the Edgemo merch line drop on Friday? Midnight Mike. Hassan can kick rocks. Hey, let me give a shout out to Midnight Mike. I was a guest on his excellent Jet program yesterday. I believe the interview is out now. So if you want some more Jets talk and some Asmaniac talk, check out Midnight Mike on YouTube. Carl writes in, best thing the Jets can do is tell Reddick, if you don't show up today, you won't play this week. Players that have been there working hard will quietly appreciate it. I really thought today had to be a day he needed to show up to get his game check. But once again, based on the head coach's comments on the situation, apparently that is not true. The reporting on this by everyone involved, I think, has been poor. No one seems to know. National, beat, no one has clear answers here. I don't understand. Like, we didn't just pull September 2nd or September 3rd out of thin air. Ladies and gentlemen, Indy Jets is called back in. He has another take he wants to make. Indy, what's going on?
Hey, Jake, I just wanted to throw this to you because I just researched this. Even if he walks in the building today, Reddick will not see a dime from the Jets until week 4 because all his fines are considered a wage garnishment, and he's up to $3.35 million, something like that. So he can show up today and not receive a dime from the Jets until week 4. I think is like it's like less than 50,000, and then he's zero at his fines. So I'm not sure. Maybe I don't know. Does that have a? I just want to throw that information to you that all his wages are garnished under fines until he sees any money. So if he shows up, the game check, he's not going to see it. It just means his fines start to get paid sooner.
Well, but eventually he sees the money when he, starts accumulating enough game checks. That's the point.
Yeah, right. But I'm just saying, this week's game, it's not like he needs the money, but, he will not see a game check for, basically 4 weeks. His 4th week's game check would be like $37,000.
Indy, God bless you for reading the CBA and trying to figure all this out because no one seems to know. The bottom line is
I
this.
just wanted to share that with you, Jake. I mean, that's I don't know. Do you think that has anything to do with him just saying, you know what? I'm not going to get paid for 4 weeks anyway. Maybe I just sit the whole dang season out. I don't know. I don't know what their camp is thinking. He should be in there 2 months ago.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that makes a difference because, like, okay, he's gonna have to pay off his fine money, but like, he's still costing himself more money by missing a game check. You know, like, oh, I wouldn't really see my game check because I owe the NFL money in fines. Okay, but eventually you would see that game money, so it doesn't make any sense. Like the credit card debt eventually has to be paid. A lot of debate on whether or not the Nate Edgemo should be put on a mug. Let me ask the chat. If we put this on a mug, would you buy it? Yay or nay? I mean, anyone who buys a coffee mug with this on it, God bless. Dan writes in, Nate, that emoji makes you look like a 70s shaggy carpet. I thought this is more like Nate, Bigfoot. Bigfoot Nate. Purple Belt Mike writes in, what a name, Nate Squatch. That's pretty funny too. Cactus Johnny says, my wife would throw it out for sure. Nate says, my mom needs one. Okay. Getting a good gauge here from the chat. Open phone lines if you wanted. Last chance to get in. Been a nearly 2-hour stream. We're back at 4. We'll talk with Jeff Parles. He's a weekly on the show. Weeklies start up next week, but we're bringing on some of our heavy hitters who will be joining us a week early. So, for instance, I'm going to be joined by the great Jeff Parles at 4 Eastern today. We'll have Sabo tomorrow at 10:30 Eastern. Rich Samini tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. Do a little Boy Green Friday soiree at 4 p.m. this week. So enjoy the weekly schedule, baby. It's all happening. Hawk writes in, I'm going to buy one for my brother and gift it to him for Christmas with absolutely no context. It is very difficult. Yeah, the best part about the Edgemo merch line is it's very difficult to describe some of these Edgemos and why they'd be great on a shirt. Andrew says Jets own his rights next season if he doesn't play. Correct. Carly writes in, when is my weekly spot on the show? Right now. Every Tuesday at 12:41 p.m. Jesus Jerry says Joe Namath had one. That's funny. Indy Jet says, I'm putting that behind a fridge to scare mice away. Nate says, I'm still waxing if Hassan shows up by the opener. Purple Belt Mike, why does Diana Rossini hate the Jets? You know, it's a great question. I don't know what the Jets did to her. Tom A says, I already trademarked Nate Squatch. Oh, my God. Boomtown says it's now 12:42. Where is Carly? It's a great question. Tom with a great suggestion for Nate. Wax number 7 on the front and back. That should be the agreement, Nate. Reddick shows up. You got to wax number 7. Hector NYC with a super chat. Thank you, Hector. Listen to you all the time, Jake. I'll be at the opener at Levi. My girlfriend's a Niners fan, and I'm a Jet fan. Let's get this W, Jets, Jets. Let's go, Hector. Appreciate the support. Bring us home a dub, all right? Hoosier Daddy says, hope McDonald destroys Purdy and we don't need Reddick. That's the hope. Right? Hope is Brock Purdy's running for his life. It's harder to do that without Hassan. Especially with they would be able to get I think a consistent pass rush if Trent Williams wasn't playing, but he's playing. Big Will says, who do you like in the Kansas City and Ravens game? I think I lean KC because they're home, right? I'll make an official pick when we get a little closer. I'll check the gambling lines, all that. Ladies and gentlemen, more of your calls.
Hi, Carly. First time I talked to you, you're a nice lady. Where are you from, New York?
Joining us right now at her weekly spot, 3 minutes late. It's every Tuesday at 12:41 p.m. is our director of merch store operations, Carly. Hello, Carly.
That's going to have to change. I'm not going to be free Tuesdays, but
this is the only spot I had open. I mean, it's tough.
Damn. I'm wearing.
There we go.
It's really dirty right now, though.
Where did you get that great hoodie?
I got it from jakeasman.com/shop.
What is your favorite Edgemo that you'll be rocking a t-shirt with?
I'm so excited for the Edgemo of you and Aaron Rodgers on a shirt.
Oh, yeah. I think I have that somewhere. Hold on. We still need a graphic with all the mocks of the shirts, so it comes up on the screen.
I will work on that today for you.
Great work.
Are you doing an afternoon show?
I feel like you don't actually listen to the show.
Well, I'm too busy in the chat talking to all my friends.
4 p.m. Eastern.
Okay, you'll have your graphic before then, so you
All
can
right.
put it on the next show.
It's happening. Any Jet takes you have for us?
I'm tired of the whole Haason Reddick thing, finding change in the couch, whatever Saleh said. I just enough. Start the season.
Nate wants to know, are you reading off a teleprompter?
No?
These are all off the cuff?
What?
These takes are all off the cuff?
Yeah, this is just on the spot.
Nice.
Thank you.
ISU says, Carly asking about next show is a Bobby bit.
Not really, but I assume Bobby will be live in between your shows.
He has not called in, so I don't know where he's at.
Where is Bobby?
Maybe he had a doctor's appointment today.
Oh, well, he'll ball as well.
King Lowski wants me to let him know when this call is over.
Never.
All right, well, a great weekly spot, I would say. We'll do it same time, 12:41 next Tuesday.
No, I'm gonna have to switch from Tuesdays. Is there another time you could offer me?
I'll have to check the schedule.
Wow,
it's tough because they play Monday next week, so everything's out of whack.
Wait, so can we go over this for a second? The Jets play 3 games in 10 days.
11 days, but yes.
Okay, I can't do math very well, but that's a lot. What are your thoughts on that?
It is a lot, yeah. It's Monday night, Sunday, and then Thursday. So it's 3 games, 11 days, but 2 of them are against teams with bad quarterbacks or not great rosters. So they should be 2-1 if they can't win week 1.
They're going to be 3-0. But what are your thoughts on the whole rest versus rust thing? Do you think it's good to have 3 games in quick succession, then they can fix things quickly between them?
Well, I think the fact that they had such a tough training camp helps from that standpoint. I do think that was part of their thinking with the 30% more team reps that they did this summer compared to last summer. So, we're going to see. I mean, I think they're better than 2 of the 3 teams, significantly better than 2 of the 3 teams they're going to play. So I hope that means they win them.
I hope so.
It was actually a pretty good question.
I was looking at the schedule yesterday.
Oh, wow. You're doing some prep.
Well, I have it inserted on my calendar. So I was looking at it and I was like, wow, Monday, Sunday, Thursday, that's 3 games in quick succession. That doesn't happen so often.
Dan writes in, will you make cookies for Haason Reddick if he shows up?
Sure.
Dan thinks that I wrote all these questions down for you to ask.
No, this is actually just me. That's why they're stupid questions.
No, it's actually not a bad question. That's why I was like, who fed you that? I thought someone else fed you that question.
No, I was looking at the calendar yesterday.
I'm glad you're putting in some prep. It's nice to see.
The season's around the corner. There's no time like the present.
They're calling you Carly Train in the chat as if you're the lane train with these questions.
If somebody just told me my hair is not going to look any better until I get a brush, I am well aware. Okay, I'm also getting it dyed tomorrow. So
can I ask you a question?
Yes.
How do you feel about the Jets?
Tom's right. I am figuring out my social life schedule because now there's a whole wrench in my plans. I can't host every Sunday because I got to go to T-Squared to be with the Asmaniac. So
that's right. Yeah. And then Tuesdays at 12:41, you got to appear on this show.
I can't do Tuesdays.
Nate writes in, Carly with lane train questions is priceless.
Guys, that was a legit question.
Purple Belt Mike says, come on, C-Train.
No. Guys.
Can you give us a choo-choo?
No.
Come on.
No. But I do want to make everybody aware that I bought a pair of green sneakers yesterday, so you can now consider me a real Jets fan.
Are you going to put the Jet logo on them like you did for the ones I own?
I don't think so. I think I'm just going to leave them green and white because then I can wear them just as normal sneakers, not just Jet sneakers.
That is true.
I could always make myself Jet sneakers if I wanted them.
Okay, Cougar Lake Jet fan says, Carly, thoughts on Bruce Hall this season?
Stop this. You guys are mean.
Bruce Hall. Let me get some more questions for you here. Tom wants to know. Hold on. Where'd it go? I gotta like call Mr. Tube up. I can't see anything. He had a great question for you now. Like, oh, here it is. He wants to know, how do you feel now?
Phenomenal. Actually, no, I'm very sad because Tom's not coming on Monday. But I told him if he comes on the Sunday that I'll make him a birthday cake.
BP wants to know, how do you feel about the Jets? Do you think they start Rodgers on day one?
Yeah, I would think so.
Purple Belt Mike, honest question, favorite jersey?
I like the all black. I mean, the one they're gonna wear them on Halloween, right? Or we're just assuming that.
I think they're definitely gonna wear it Halloween. They could also maybe wear it in the home opener this year too on Thursday night. But I think they maybe wait till Halloween to wear it for the first time.
I like those. They're very pretty. What kind of cake? Whatever cake Tom wants.
All right, I think we covered the bases here.
Like really mean.
I thought you actually had a great question with the 3 games in 10 days.
Stupid.
Well, I mean, I can't tell the chat what to think. You
Dan
just got to keep calling in.
Short bus to school. That's not nice.
You got to call in with just some great takes, and then over time, you'll prove your vast knowledge of the Jets.
Okay, whatever. Could you bring Matt Siegel on the screen?
He's not here anymore. He left.
What the heck?
He's back. Matt Siegel. Hello, Matt.
Oh, the mustache really is black.
This guy thinks he's Aaron Rodgers. Look, he got the mustache, the Hugo House hat.
All right. Put me back off.
You look good. What is your message for Jet fans coming to L5 for the home opener, Matthew? Fire up the crowd.
I don't think you're going to want to miss it. There might be 1 jersey. There might be 2 jerseys. There might be 3. But I know there will be 1 that's burned.
Can we burn a Belichick hoodie?
I will burn a Belichick hoodie every home game if someone brings one.
All right.
Always.
Matt, thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to add?
Carly, are you leaving at halftime week 1?
I don't have to. That's like a late night.
All right. Well, good stuff.
Matt, thank you. All right. Carly, any other takes? We good? Did we fulfill your weekly spot on the show?
I
here?
hope everybody's excited for Edgemo week on Friday, 9 a.m. They will be. You know what? I am here to promote things.
Will you put this on a shirt?
If you get 15 memberships, I will put it on a shirt.
All right. Well, the big fella just asked, where are we at for a Nate Edgemo? Nate emoji and 15 members. Do we have that in us before we wrap the show?
Come on, guys. We only need 3 people to give 5 each. That's not so bad.
I'll give 5, so we really only need 10. I'm going to do it right now.
We need the heavy hitters to come in.
Oh.
But I will put that on a shirt if it is an actual Edgemo in the chat. But I'm turning into Charles. I'm reading the chat. Everybody,
you're not exactly helping your case here when people have
I know.
already said that you remind them of Lane Train, and then you went Charles Gorman on us.
Am I going to remind them of Bobby next? Nate,
Ladies
I
and
can
gentlemen.
put it on underwear. I can put things on underwear. They make, I think, boxer briefs or something.
I don't think you're helping your case here.
No, I'm absolutely not. But I'm good at the merch, and that's really all that matters on this show. So you guys can all just say thank you.
5 channel memberships have just been gifted by yours truly. Donna, Shlomo, Nick W. Hold on. Who else got him? Matt Mason and Latino Will. Ladies and gentlemen, the big fella just came through with the remaining 10 we needed. 10 channel memberships. Let's go. Hold on. I know what we need for the big fella. He's dropping bombs. 10 channel memberships. Cliff Burlew, Jam, Gerald Janesco, G-Man the Prophet, Jay-Z Jet Fan, Raymond Coletta, Boba Jet, Rourke's Drift, Jets Forever, not the one we don't like, Michael Dinapolis. You guys are all channel members. Welcome. All right. The Nate Edgemo, I'm going to upload it, and then I'll send you an email, and you can put it on a shirt.
Thank you.
All right. Carl, great job.
Yeah, of course. Anytime. If there's a specific Edgemo that you will buy on a shirt, tell me in the chat, tag me so I can see it, and I will make sure it is up there for the Asmaniacs because I want to make you all happy. That's my job here.
Great work.
Okay.
See you at 12:41 next Tuesday.
Not true.
Carly, check again. Give her a break in the chat. She does a great job with the merch. The Edgemo line is going to be incredible. I'm going to add the Nate Edgemo here, so we'll have it. I can't guarantee this thing has lasted that long, but we're going to have it for at least a week. And you know, if the Jets win and Nate's right, they don't need Reddick, screw them, maybe even longer. Let me add this here. You know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add it after the show because we've already gone for 2 hours and 13 minutes, and it will be easier to do when I don't have all these things streaming at once. So anyway, what a show. Skip Money wanted to know who your all-time favorite Jet is, Carly. I'm just going to say it's Jeremy Ruckert because he's from Long Island. But you could respond in the chat if it's someone different. Sean says Hassan Reddick can kick rocks. That seems to be the theme of today's show. David D says Gary's nanny still needs her own emoji. King Lowski says Carly getting off the call is what makes me happy. I actually obtained video of this. This is a live look of King Lowski right now. Thank you, King. Thank you. All right. That does it. Thank you all for watching. I'm going to go add the Nate Edgemo for all to use. Reminder, the full drop of Edgemos is Friday. RSVP for the watch party if you haven't. And patreon.com for bonus content, Discord access. If you're going to any road game, we have a tab in the Discord once again where you could respond and connect with members who are also going to be out there. Find out about tailgates and meetups the night before, all that. So that's why I'm pushing the Patreon extra hard. And if you sign up for the year, you actually save 15%. So it's a great deal we're offering right now. We're back at 4 p.m. today. All right, 4 p.m. We're going to be joined by Jeff Parles. It's going to be a lot of fun. Before we get out of here, Someone asked about Gary's nanny. We don't have an emoji for her yet, but maybe it's coming. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows if Hassan Reddick's ever going to show up? Maybe never. If he does, we'll be live, but we're going live in a few hours. I'll talk to you guys then. Go Jets. Thanks to everyone who watched. Thanks for all the memberships, super chats. You guys are great. Calls. Couldn't have done it without you. JETS, 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 Jets.
And this is my nanny, babysitter, assistant, helper lady. named Morgan.
Hello.
She goes to Oklahoma.
Morgan, how long have you been a nanny to Decker?
3 years, since 2021.
Wow.
Yeah.
You and Gary's wife have done a great job because there's no way Decker turned out the way she did because of Gary. I'm just catching up on some of the comments here, and this is for everyone. You know who you are.
Calm your freaky down.
Just saying. Eric says, good thing Jake didn't put Bobby on. Could you imagine? Some of these comments, man. Jake, you don't want to read the comments. Oh, it's true. I can't even read these comments, man. You guys are terrible. Gary, what are your thoughts on everyone seemingly being a big fan of your nanny?
She's fantastic. She's the best.
She is. That she is.
Yeah.
Thank you for the time. Gary's nanny needs her own emoji. This chat is going wild today, folks. All right. Richard Todd is watching the show in delay, says, just saw Gary's nanny. Interesting. What's so interesting about it? Top Cat says we need Scott to normalize the chat again. Lane wants to know, are you in college?
I graduated from college.
Did you go to college with Knoble?
No, I did not. I did not go to college with Knoble.
Lane wrote in, can you cut him off? Lane's had enough of you.
Gee, thanks, Lane. I appreciate it.
Losing Lane is like when you lose Cronkite, you know? You lose the country. That's like Lane Kerner here. You lose the Lane train, you lose the country.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I'll just kick off Charles. Anyway, how do you feel about Al-Azhar?
Wait, Lane, hold on. What did Charles say specifically that irked you?
That whole rapping thing, I did not get. Yeah, so how do you feel about Al-Azhar? I don't know when the first preseason game is. Let me get to the paper. A lot of Olympic coverage. Oh, Texas and Bears. I hope the Bears win. Bye-bye. Thank you for taking my call.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Lane train. As electric as ever. Kings stay kings.
It's time for Jets Worldwide. Get ready to match the stars on Jets Match Game Worldwide.
Fake, what new merch stuff are you going to get ready to have coming up?
Coming soon to the merch store, we're going to be selling a few things. We got the Chiefs fan leg that he found, his neighbor's leg. He's going to sign it. If you act now, we'll throw in Chiefs fan headphones. We got the V-Man starter pack, which is going to come with the Puerto Rican hat and Puerto Rican flag. And then if you act now, we're going to throw in Linus. Scott donated the pop of this hair that he cut off, though. We're going to give you that along with his glasses. And of course, they're Carly, though.
Here it is. Little Victor Cruz dance. Oh, Victor. Woo.
Look, guys, I don't know how else to say this. Fact of the matter is the team has almost no chance to win this week unless you click on the like button. Also, be sure you're subscribed to the Jake Asman Show. Let's do this. Go Jets.